If you like the content and willing to support my effort, then please subscribe to my channel, give it a like and share it with everyone. Thank you. Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at a game from Chess24 Legends of Chess. It was from round 6 and Viswanathan Anand was fighting against Nepomniachtchi. As we have seen that Anand was not in good form during the tournament. He lost in first 3 rounds and in the next 2 rounds, that is in round 4 and round 5, he managed to draw against his opponents in 4 matches from each round, but at the end he lost in Armageddon, so he went on losing those rounds also. So maybe he's not feeling comfortable with the online format, or maybe he's just suffering from a bad form, but that's all natural, and I think it's so common for any sports person. We are just expecting a brilliant comeback from this legend during the coming Olympiad. So however, it was round 6, as I have told earlier, and it was the 4th match. So in the previous 3 matches, I mean, Nepo was leading with 2-1. So in this match, Anand needs to win, otherwise he will just lose this round also. So he has nothing to lose during this match, and because of that, I think he actually played a brilliant game of chess. It was a complete rush of blood. It actually shows Anand's class. Okay, so if you're a fan of aggressive gameplay, then this is a game for you. So without further delay, let us dive into the game. Here Nepo is playing with the white pieces and Anand is playing with the black pieces. And here Nepo begins the game with e4, Anand replies with c5, the Sicilian defense on the board. The game continues with knight f3, e6 instead of d6. And instead of d4, white first go for knight c3, knight c6, and then only d4, cd, knight d. So the position transposes to Sicilian Taimanov, and here black goes for queen c7, the not so common Bastrikov variation. The game continues with a3, preventing this knight to come forward, a5 for the same idea, also with the idea of b5 and fianchetting this bishop to b7. Bishop e3, maybe white is planning for a queenside castle, or maybe it's just a developing move. However, knight f6 and then queen f3. Now this is a kind of novelty. I haven't found any top level tournament where this move was played in this position. So this is a kind of new move that Nepo is going for in this position. However, the game continues with b5. Anand is going according to the plan, and e5 by white attacking this knight. Now instead of defending this knight immediately, here Anand goes for knight into d4, capturing the piece. And now if suppose white goes for queen into a8, capturing the rook, that is not possible because knight into c2 check, king d2, white is also losing the rook, e into f6 and g into f6. So now black is up by 2 pawns, and here instead of capturing the rook, Nepo goes for bishop into d4, winning back this piece, and bishop b7, again attacking the queen, queen g3, and then only knight d5. Now the position is quite equal, and here Nepo could simply go for trading of the pieces and the game could go absolutely alright, but here Nepo actually goes for kind of crazy position, or maybe a complicated line. However, he goes for knight e4, and the idea is that the pieces on the white pieces are very active on king side, and white has a lot of initiative. This rook is behind the bar, this king is open. However, Anand here simply captures the pawn, queen into c2, bishop d3 by white, and queen a4. Now again here Nepo could go for bishop c5, trading of pieces, and it could go very normal, but here Nepo goes for b4. And well, in this position Anand simply captures the pawn, a into b4, and now obviously black cannot capture this rook because it's defended by the bishop. Instead black goes for queen into b4 check. Now if you look at the position, then this bishop is under attack, it's hanging first. Second is that black is down a piece, Black is down a bishop for 3 pawns, and these two passed pawns on the queen side, so maybe very much crucial or useful at the end. But currently white has so much initiative, and let's see what happens. It's gonna be a fun game, and it actually is from this position. So however, this bishop is hanging in this situation, so the only choice is bishop d3 and then simply knight into c3. Now black is actually threatening to give a deadly discovered check and win the queen. However, white here goes for knight d6 with a fork on the king and the bishop. King f8, and now white cannot go for capturing this bishop, because then knight e4 check, and after anything white is losing the queen. So white first goes for castles, and then only this bishop is under attack. So bishop c6, we are looking at rook a c1 attacking the piece, but there is no threat right now because it's defended. And then simply white here, not simply, black here goes for a very good move, which is f5. Now the idea is that if white captures this pawn through a pass, say e into f6, then g into f6, and now this, if you look, this rook is coming on g8, this queen is on the same file as this king, and this bishop is here attacking the g2 pawn. So there is a deadly attack coming on the g file. And even if white goes for something like queen g3, then simply rook g8, g3, because this rook was under attack, and this rook is coming on g5, and now it's coming to d5 and e5, and you know, all this rook is very much active. It's gonna be deadly for white here. So yeah, for this reason, maybe this pawn is kind of poisoned. So instead of capturing this pawn here, white goes for queen g5. The idea is that bishop f5, pawn takes, and after queen takes, it's going towards a kind of checkmate. So queen d4 by Anand. Now this bishop into f5 idea doesn't work. Suppose bishop into f5, then simply queen into e5. Now this knight is under attack. Also this bishop is pinned against the queen. So now this bishop into f5 idea doesn't work. Instead of that, white here goes for rook fe1, defending the pawn and also sacrificing the piece, the bishop. The idea is that if queen captures this bishop, then rook e3, and after queen moves, rook is gonna capture the piece back. But Anand has done a brilliant calculation in this position, and he simply goes for rook into d3 with confidence. Queen h5, now threatening a checkmate on f7. So g6, the only move. Queen g5. Now the idea is that queen is coming on f6, king g8, and queen f7 is checkmate. So here the only move now from this position, Anand is going for defense, and a brilliant defense, a series of moves that's actually kind of forced, but at the same time it's necessary to defend the black king. So here Anand goes for king g8. That is the only best move in this position. Queen e7, now threatening a checkmate on f7. So rook f8, defending the f7 square. So knight e8, now threatening a checkmate on g7. So if here black goes for capturing this knight, rook into e8 and queen into e8, now it's gonna be a draw by perpetual checks. Okay, so wherever king goes, it's gonna be, king is not gonna escape the check, and it's a draw from this position. So this rook cannot capture this knight. Instead, rook f7, defending the g7 square. Now knight f6 check, and if black captures this knight, then simply e into f6, and now this queen is gonna come on g7 and it's gonna be checkmate. Suppose here black goes for, say, knight e2 check, then simply rook into e2, queen into e2, and queen g7 is checkmate. So king g7, knight h5 check. Again, if black captures this pawn, then it's gonna be draw by perpetual checks, and black king cannot escape the series of checks. So king h5, now sacrificing the queen, sacrificing the rook here. Queen captures the rook, and king into h5. Now white goes for rook e3, trying to win back the piece. He's going according to the plan. Now instead of moving this rook, Anand here goes for knight e2 check. king f1 and bishop g2 check, sacrificing the bishop. The idea is that if king captures this bishop, then queen d5 check, king f1, black can capture the rook, and whatever white does here, this king can escape the checks from this path. Say let us see the variation. So rook h3 check, king g4, rook g3 check, king f4, queen g7, trying to capture the rook, at the same time capture this knight with skewer. So simply rook c8, defending the rook, at the same time defending the knight here. Queen h6 check, king into e5, queen e3 check. Now this king is entering the safe zone, so queen g5 check, king g7, queen e7 check, and then king g8. Now no further checks are possible, and now black pieces are coming to hunt this king down. So instead of capturing the bishop here, white goes for king e1 because black has too many pieces, and yeah, obviously his king is exposed, but let's see, it's not too much defendable for white here. And now let us enjoy the brilliancy by Anand. Here Anand goes for knight into c1, sacrificing the queen. Now rook into d3, knight into d3 check, king d2 and knight into e5. Now look, white has one queen for three black pieces, knight, bishop and rook, and it's simply crazy what is going on right now on the board. So queen g7, forking the rook and the knight, but the black has some intermediate move. So here black goes for knight f3 check, king a3, and then rook c8, defending both the pieces, at the same time bringing all pieces on the board. So here white goes for last possible checks. So queen h7 check, king g5, queen e7 check, king g4, h3 check, that is the last check possible. So bishop h3 and queen d6, and whatever here white does, there is nothing much to do for white here. Black has too many pawns, and it's simply winning for black here. So black starts the sequence of winning by rook c3 check, king e2, that is the only possible move, and Anand finishes off the game in style. He goes for bishop f1 check, sacrificing the bishop, king into f1, and then rook c1 check, and it is on move 41. In this position, Nepomniachtchi designed the game because there is nothing for white to do. If king goes like king g2, then rook g1 is checkmate. If he goes for king e2, then rook e1 check, king d3, which is the only option for white, and rook d1 check, and white is losing the queen here. So in this position, Nepo resigned and Anand went on winning this game brilliantly. The calculations was on point, the aggression was on point, and what a brilliant game it was. It's completely, I think, I just thought within myself that the name of this video should be The Rush of Blood. However, with this, we are coming to the end of the video and also end of the game. I'm taking your leave. See you next time with some other exciting game.